Hello guys, welcome back to one of my videos again. Now I just finished filming the nisael's analysis video, and if you did not watch it, I will link it down in the description below and you should go check it out. He's an amazing monster, but we have another monster to analyze today, that is Grakon. Now Grakon is the new elite monster that will be available in the game soon. He is a monster that is from the nature category, and I think he will be the next PvP pass monster as well. Now let's just go over all of his skills. First we have Drek's little brother, and that just reminds you of the beautifully designed nature monster that was Drek. He isn't very good, so I don't use him much, and I don't even have him, I think, but his design is very good, and I really like those nature kind of designs, but that's besides the point. Now we have Grakon. Now the first move deals low physical damage to one enemy, nothing too special. But then we have Selfish and Arrogant, deals moderate damage to one enemy, nothing too good about that. Then we have Barium Spit, applies curse to one enemy, nothing too good about that as well. Then we have Thallium Breath, applies burn to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy. Now this monster is pretty underwhelming at first, but there's a bit of a surprise at the end, so stay tuned. Then we have Copper Sulfate, applies burn and poison to all enemies, requires cooldown. Now burn and poison will be applied like this. First there will be a chance to burn all of the enemies, that I think is 90%. Then we have poison to all enemies, that is 90 or 95% as well. Now you have to keep in mind that these will not always land. Now the reason why they won't land is because a lot of monsters have skills like Tough, Harden and Bulwark, and that becomes very hard to land all of the status effects, so you should not count these status effects to be your holy grail. But then we have Vanguard, deals heavy nature damage to one enemy, applies stun twice to one enemy, requires cooldown. Now I was just going over his skills a little bit prior to making this video, and I realized that this monster is definitely a denier, but he has moves that that deals DOTs, that is damage over time as well, so that is pretty good as well. And this monster obviously has so many good skills, and you have to choose those skills depending upon the situation. Then for the next move we have his Roots, that is activating all cooldowns on one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. Now I would generally do not recommend to run moves with an extra turn. Only run moves with an extra turn unless there are no anticipation monsters on the enemy team. Anticipation monsters are becoming way too common in the game, and I do not like that, and I think that trait should be nerfed, but that's just me being salty. I think that trait was necessary, otherwise those Voltic Xylo teams would still be on, and that would just make the game boring. Then we have Boron Flames, deals heavy special damage to one enemy, applies curse to all enemies. Now this is a move that you should definitely run. Curse is definitely the best DOT out there. It deals horrendous damage over time, and I love to use this AoE curse skill with my Isel, and that deals a lot of damage, so definitely you should run this AoE curse. Then we have Ratamahata, I do not know how to pronounce this, so forgive my pronunciation. Deals low nature damage to all enemies, applies stun twice to all enemies, requires cooldown. Now this is a very good deny skill, especially if the monsters do not have stun immunity. Now what this does is it has a 95% chance to stun all of the enemies. Then it has another 95% chance to stun all the enemies in the same turn. So if that enemy did not get denied the very first stun, there's a high chance that this monster will be stunned the second time around. Then we have Boric Acid, deals moderate fire damage to all enemies, applies burn and poison to all enemies, requires cooldown. Now this is a move that you should definitely consider running as well, because it burns and poisons and deals moderate damage as well. But if you had to choose between the curse and this move, definitely run the curse. Then we have Bloody Roots, activates all cooldowns on all enemies, applies bleed to all enemies, requires cooldown. Now this is his main denying skill, and I personally think that apart from those mega status effects like Mega Corrupted, Mega Freeze, etc, activating cooldowns is a great way to deny a lot of monsters, and a lot of monsters have a lot of cooldowns, and this move ensures that monster is at least denied for one turn, and mostly the monsters are denied for 2 turns, because the cooldown skills activated is really annoying and really puts the other team at a disadvantage, because cooldowns being activated is not a good. And on top of this, this monster also applies bleed to all enemies, requires cooldown. Then we have the special that removes positive status effects from all enemies, removes 50% of total life from all enemies. The special is very good as well. Its name is Swamp Dragon, and I like this special, but this could be more overwhelming because specials are supposed to get rid of all the enemies at once in case you trigger them, which is a 3% chance if you did not know that. Okay, now this monster is quite underwhelming for me. Now, I did not expect this of an elite monster. Like, okay, he is good, he is definitely usable, provided that he is speedy. But I was certainly expecting a lot more considering the time in the current meta. A lot of good monsters out there, and the Forsakens are completely taking over the meta as I'm seeing it. So I really expected this monster to be, stepped up. And yeah, this again reminds me of one thing that Social Point recently did Ask Me Anything, and Wicca actually was supposed to be the nature for the nature elite monster, and ended up becoming the Forsaken monster. Now I'm assuming that this monster was supposed to be the Forsaken one, and instead of Wicca, this should have been the Forsaken, but somehow, some way, Wicca made it as a Forsaken and this monster made it as an elite. Now, one confusing thing that has come up in Discord is this monster may have a skills group 4 now, or may not have a skills group 4, but we have other skills. So let's just go over them. Now, these moves are really good, and if this monster has these skills unlocked and you are able to run these skills, definitely I would recommend running all 4. All of these skills are phenomenal. No Rest for the Wicked, disables straight on all enemies, deals heavy nature damage to all enemies, applies stun and poison to all enemies. Phenomenal skill. Disabling trait removes all of those pesky mega taunt, all of those, taunt and God knows what, bulwark, tough, harden, whatever that is. It removes that. Immunity stun, immunity to possession, immunity to control, anticipation, removes all of that, and then this gives you a chance to stun all of the enemy monsters and also apply a poison, to definitely run that skill. Then we have Feel Free to Rot, deals heavy special damage to one enemy, applies mega stun to one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. Now the reason that I am recommending this extra skill is because I am assuming that the person who's running this skill knows that if there's an anticipation monster on the enemy team, run the No Rest for the Wicked move first. That will disable all of the traits on all of the enemy monsters first, then run the skill and apply mega stun as well as stun to deny the most threatening monster on the team for 2 turns and gain an extra turn as well. Then we have an AoE negative effect removal from all allies, removes positive status effect from all allies, and applies poison and curse. That is Chance of the Swamp. That is again a phenomenal move. Then we have Wisdom of Decay, removes positive status effects from one enemy, activates all cooldowns on one enemy, applies stun to all enemies. Now, this skill is really good as well. Now, this skill will end up, activating cooldowns on the monster with the area dodge trait, and this will take care of the monsters without the area dodge trait as well. But instead of denying one, it does the job. But instead of doing the job in 2 moves, it does the job in 1. So you're essentially killing the bird with 2 birds with 1 stone. Oh my god, I can't even remember the sayings properly. But if you have the chance to unlock the skills, or if this monster had these skills default unlocked, definitely run all of these skills. If not, assuming that this monster does not have these moves, or you cannot unlock them for some reason, then the moves that I would recommend are definitely Bloody Root, the AoE curse skill, that is Boron Flames, then obviously Boric Acid, that is burn and poison, then the Rat Mahata, that is stun twice to all enemies. Now this monster I think will have a good speed, considering this monster is a deny monster, and so automatically the runes are speed runes, which are three speed runes, and we do not know his trait. His skill sheet is not out as of yet, and yeah, that just concludes the video. Again, I would like to thank you all for showing me so much love, so much support, and so much, good energy and vibes on my recent Rociuko video. We just recently crossed like 1,000 views in that video, which I am shocked. I never thought that my videos would be viewed so many times, and I was literally crying when I, looked at the video. And thank you all for making this possible for me. Now also thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for being there for me in those times where I really could not make it to YouTube and could not reply to most of you guys. I am getting back to replying to all of your comments, and I will continue to do so. Now remember, I am also a human. I also have life beside Monster Legends, and I cannot always make videos for you, but I am trying my best. I am getting all of those videos out to you guys. So a big shout out to all of you guys. And yeah, I am ready to add you as a friend. I am ready to, do friendly battles with you, provided that I am online at the time. And if you want to give me a friend request, I'm open to that. My name is SCHERYAR, that is Sherryar, and yeah, you go find me and send me a friend request, and I will accept it. And now that's out of the way. Thank you, and bye bye.